After calling the priest to lives of holiness and purity in Leviticus 21, Leviticus 22 continues God's instructions, showing them how to handle his offerings with reverence. The focus now moves from the character of the priest to the care of the sacred things. God was teaching his ministers that holiness must not only shape who they are, but also how they serve. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Tell Aaron and his sons to treat with respect the sacred offerings the Israelites consecrate to me, so they will not profane my holy name. I am the Lord." This opening command strikes at the very heart of worship. How we handle what belongs to God reveals how we honor him. The priests were responsible for the people's offerings, portions of sacrifices, grain, and firstfruits, and God demanded that they approach these gifts with reverence, never carelessness. If a priest was ceremonially unclean, whether through contact with death, disease, or defilement, he was forbidden from eating any of the sacred food until he had been cleansed. Even though he was a priest by birth, his position did not excuse him from purity. Holiness was not a privilege to be exploited, but a standard to be guarded. God said, "They must keep my requirements so that they do not become guilty and die for treating them with contempt. I am the Lord who makes them holy." These were not casual guidelines. They were matters of life and death. The priests were custodians of the holy, representatives of heaven on earth. Every act of service had to reflect the majesty of the one they served. God also gave rules about who could eat the sacred food. Only priests and members of their households were permitted to eat the offerings, but not outsiders or hired workers. However, if a priest bought a slave, that person could share in the sacred food, not because of status, but because of belonging. This revealed God's heart for inclusion. Holiness was not about privilege, but about relationship and covenant connection. If anyone accidentally ate sacred food, restitution had to be made, restoring what was eaten plus an additional fifth. Even unintentional carelessness toward the holy required correction. Then God turned his attention to the sacrifices themselves, instructing that no animal offered to him should have any defect or blemish. When you bring an offering to the Lord to fulfill a vow or as a free will offering, it must be without defect or blemish to be acceptable. The sacrifices were to be perfect because they represented the one who was perfect, God himself. A blind, crippled, or diseased animal could not be placed upon the altar. God deserves the best, not leftovers, and worship must reflect his worth. Even among free will offerings, animals that were deformed or scarred were not acceptable. And when an animal was born, it was not to be offered before the 8th day, showing that life needed to mature before it could be given in dedication. God's care extended even to compassion toward animals. You shall not slaughter a cow or sheep and its young on the same day. Every command, even the smallest, revealed his heart of mercy and order. He then reminded Israel of the purpose of it all. When you sacrifice a thank offering to the Lord, sacrifice it in such a way that it will be accepted on your behalf. Worship was never about mere ritual. It was about relationship. God wanted sincere hearts, not empty offerings. The chapter closes with a beautiful repetition, a refrain that echoes the entire theme of Leviticus. Keep my commands and follow them. Do not profane my holy name, for I must be acknowledged as holy by the Israelites. I am the Lord who made you holy and who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. These closing words remind us that everything, holiness, obedience, sacrifice, worship, flows from redemption. God was not giving rules to earn salvation. He was instructing a redeemed people how to live in the light of salvation already given. Leviticus 22 shows us that reverence is the fruit of redemption. Those who have been delivered from Egypt, from sin, from bondage, must never handle holy things lightly. And it points directly to Jesus Christ, the flawless Lamb of God. He was the perfect offering, without blemish, without sin. And through his sacrifice, we have been made acceptable before God. He is the pure priest and the perfect sacrifice, fulfilling every detail of Leviticus in love. This chapter teaches us that our worship too should reflect his worth, not half-hearted or careless, but wholehearted and reverent. To live holy is to handle sacred things with care. Our words, our time, our offerings, our very lives. Next comes Leviticus 23, where God outlines his appointed feasts and holy days, revealing the rhythm of worship that would shape Israel's year and point prophetically to Christ.